I think Alchemist comes a little bit faster online, but then again, you can punish him a little bit heavier with the Dawnbreaker. You're probably going to have a Dawn and a Hoodwink on that lane, and for an Alchemist, that can go real wrong real fast.
Yeah, that seems like a lane that could be very devastating. For sure.
I'm just looking at my predictions, and player with highest net worth at the game end, I'm going to go with the Alchemist. If he loses or wins, I feel like he's going to be the one. They're running in on the high ground, but there's a Keiko waiting for them.
Yeah, they're going to see if they can get this. And looking already over at ZZQ, who's sitting pretty low, but the Phantom Assassin gets stunned up, and Keiko ends up dropping. So they've lost the Phantom Assassin. Dome might be next. The Soul Assumption does a lot of damage. And Shiro trying to chase, throws the Unstable Concoction, and they get the kill on Shiro before they're able to take out Dome. They still even want a third. Wow, YP falling. And it's 3-for-1 in the favor of EHOME.
Oh, 3-for-2.
Yeah, he kills himself to the tower afterwards, but it still ends up being a bit of a big fight. Very SEA reminiscent.
I can hear your beautiful voice very well once again, Bcop. I don't know what you did. You fixed it, so don't be shy. Let it rip. Sing.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. Do you know Dolma? It's I think it's like minced meat wrapped in what exactly? I think in.
I'm not sure. That's not like an American term you hear all too often.
I need to Google. Yeah. It's minced meat wrapped into with rice, wrapped into how do you? I need to find the right word. I need to find the right grapevine. Grapevine leaves. Very tasty. I wonder if that's where the nickname is coming from.
Okay.
Probably isn't, but now I'm hungry.
I'm trying to figure out what that's like. There's like this Greek dish I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's like Turkish or Greek or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out if that's what it is. Man, YP taking a lot of damage here up at the top lane. Shiro just trying to chase, and he's slowed up by that Celestial Hammer from Dolme.
So they actually ended up putting Snap on top lane and Hoodwink on bot. I mean, that also works. I've maybe thought that Snap would be better off on bottom lane and Hoodwink perhaps better off on top lane a little bit, because you get to sustain yourself versus the Visage. Soul Assumption doesn't hurt as much. You get like what, 100, 200 more HP on Snap. You're strength based, so but it's okay.
Is there any lane that really just stands out at you in this game so far? Like, we got 5 kills before the horn, but
Hoodwink bottom lane.
Hoodwink bottom almost going down immediately, but the Soul Assumption damage, Hara just can't survive.
I love when players make me sound smart 1 second after I said something, right? Like, it doesn't happen very often. It happens once in 10 games, top lane. They get Alchemist.
Getting Hero, but even wondering if they want to turn this around and maybe use that Unstable Concoction and play aggressively that way.
The problem with Hoodwink on bottom lane and PA is both of these heroes are extremely susceptible to being nuked down. And that's what's happening at the moment. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if Visage even got 2 levels of Soul Assumption. It's not the most normal play. You don't usually do this, but versus these two, it might even be worth it.
So we'll see how the lanes kind of evolve and what we're going to see from them. It's very different than what the 5 alchemists we saw that didn't take Grivel's Greed until like level 9.
King of Alchemist on top lane, he's taking a bit of a beating, but yeah, he's sustaining himself much better than I thought he would. I guess a couple of nerfs to Dawnbreaker made it a bit easier for him.
Well, ain't this cute?
The early damage from Dawnbreaker just still seems to be there. I know there were a couple nerfs, maybe not this patch, but the previous one, but it still feels like Dawnbreaker is really strong. Like, they lowered the damage, I believe, on Celestial Hammer. But, like, you're still very strong in the laning phase, and Starbreaker just feels like such a strong ability.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. Then again, they didn't kill the Alchemist yet, so You know, like I expected Alchemist to be running towards jungle minute 3. No, I'm kidding. You have a Shadow Demon with you, obviously. Like this guy can always mess up the Starbreaker.
Kaiko's in trouble bottom. They have the Soul Assumption again. Like they tried to go in on the planet with the Bushwhack and they just didn't have the damage. And when you use the displacement spells coming out from the Marcy, like there's just no way to survive. Again, they want to go for Shiro, but it just seems like ShenZen right now are lacking damage in these lanes to get these kills.
Yep, exactly. It's bottom lane, you're playing with 2 Edge-Eye heroes that are extremely squishy, and you're playing into a Visage Marcy of all. It's so difficult. Like this lane, honestly, like on autopilot should be a win for EHOME. That's how I see it. You really have to make some mistakes to lose it. However, it does get a little bit easier once raindrops are out, because you can block a lot of those soul assumptions.
You really need to start blocking them, because it seems like every soul assumption that he's been throwing is leading to a kill, if not something that's putting you at a fraction of health. Like, you just can't play that aggressively. And Zeal, like I was saying in the draft, he is a very formidable Visage player. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes against the ShenZen lineup as the time goes by and as he gets those levels and what he's able to accomplish with this hero. Yeah, we've seen guys like Old 11 do really well with it as well.
Mid lane, there's Phoenix with a really angry exorcism behind the tier 1 tower. He's trying to get Echo away from creeps as the Carti is there, and you can see everyone is pretty much rotating in for the same reason. They're really punching this tower, 50% HP already.
On to Planet, but they dispose of him, and now you've got YP here with Aura. Illuminate does a lot of damage, and YP needs to run. It's a trade that maybe they're not going to be too happy with, as they've locked up the Death Prophet of Phoenix now, so he's trying to run. The Shadow Poison coming out, the stack's getting bigger and bigger, but the Bushwhack is there, and the kill comes out as they get the kill onto Echo and take out that Kata.
There was no way in hell that they killed the Death Prophet, so I was actually surprised they went for it. The Prophet had 17, 18 Magic Wand charges when they even started going on her. By the end, it was 20. Top lane, Shiro, this time should be dead.
Yeah, hopefully, for the sake of ShenZen, they're able to get this kill, because they've tried to go on to Shiro multiple times, and they finally get this Alchemist. It feels like it's been an attempt of 3 or 4 times here top, and finally with the levels, they have the cumulative damage to get this kill onto the Alchemist.
So far, so good for ShenZen, really. Like, they're playing the map really well. They're punishing mid lane Kotl. Look at that tower. Like, mid lane tower is already on less than 500 HP. It's not something that happens usually to a Kotl, as he can always blast the lane, and just go back, right? Farm the jungle.
It does worry me, too. Like, I wonder what they want to do if they do fall behind, right? Like, Alchemist is kind of one of those heroes that, obviously, with Grievel's Greed, you innately want to farm a lot of the map. Kotl can do so with the Illuminate, but if you've got multiple heroes that are falling behind and your map is falling into a smaller space because of the pressure that ShenZen's putting on, and something maybe they can do with the next Exorcism, I wonder if they'll feel comfortable farming.
So basically, that Prophet has an Arcane Rune. We should see Phoenix just pop the Exorcism with it and take the tier 1 mid. I don't think that's going to get stopped. Or maybe, actually, he's tipping top. This is perhaps even better.
If they can break through EHOME here and break through this tier 1 top, that's going to feel really good for them. So you need to be careful on the side of EHOME about how you approach this as YP. Whoa. You need to be very careful, almost dying on that Snapfire. And this Exorcism was used, so obviously with the Arcane Rune, you wanted to use it before that ran out with the lowered cooldown. But if they don't find a tower with it, if they don't find the pressure, maybe it's not going to feel that great. But they're also potentially having Phoenix Queen through some stacks, which are pretty important to this Alchemist.
Yeah, and by the time that Prophet finishes the stacks, he'll find some farm on the mid lane. So they rotate rotated him away. And I think, yeah, losing these stacks is bad, for sure. But losing the tower top lane, like tier 1 top, is worse, and mid tier 1 is also worse. So I think for EHOME, it's much better this way, like than trying to fight and like lose heroes and objectives. Just
Steel
give
bottom
them.
needing to run away. They use the Solar Guardian, but they've got the Starbreaker. They get the kill onto this Visage. They'll look over at the Dawnbreaker. They end up getting a bit of a trade. If they can find a +1, this isn't too bad for EHOME, or maybe even look to get the tier 1 tower, as Planet will rebound. They've gotten the lockdown for a second onto Hara, but they just can't continue to keep him still.
Oh, he tossed Echo in the trees as well. You saw that, right? Like
Not great for them.
Yeah, he disposed Echo as well.
Yeah.
They got blocked. It happens. But this is the power of their lineup. Like, you have Visage online, you have Kotal with travels, you can just go from one tower to the other, specifically when there's no exorcism. So you can do a ton of work while Alchemist is farming. And you asked me before if I'm worried that they'll crumble and the map will shrink. It can happen, but it shouldn't. Like, it truly shouldn't. They have heroes that are very capable of making plays and creating space.
Exposed on the YP. They're going to try and get this kill. They've got Hara over to the side. They are looking to make something happen, but unfortunately they can't save YP. Zeal with the easy kill. They'll drop down one of the familiars onto Hara.
That's perfect,
but
right?
They don't have the follow-up for it.
Yeah, that's perfect for EHOME. They baited Exorcism on the other side of the map. Now they're just falling back. They even got a kill. Meanwhile, Alchemist is farming up. It's pretty much exactly how you want to be playing.
So far, I would say so good, but it's still ShenZen holding on to a 2K lead against this Alchemist.
Yeah, he had a rough start. Like, that's for sure something that we need to mention. The stacks have been stolen from him. He was shoved from the top lane. But it's an Alchemist game.
Going right on into the familiars, and they're going to find Hara. The damage is quick, and it's a stealthy kill onto this Hoodwink. We've seen a couple of these exorcisms from Death Prophet just not really net the objectives. Like, obviously, the one prior to the one that just happened bottom got them those stacks, but still, like, it does feel like EHOME have kind of not baited out exorcisms, but done a good job of kind of, I guess it is in a sense a bait, but like they've controlled where they want the Death Prophet to really be while using them, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They just forced a fight somewhere. Let's put it in a simple way. They force a fight on the enemy side of the map, right? And because of that, the Exorcism is used on the enemy side of the map, and because of that, your Alchemist is untouched. He's farming away on his side. One thing that ShenZen truly needs is level 6 on Hoodwink, and they just got it. Like 12 minutes in, level 6 Hoodwink. If it came a little bit sooner, maybe you'd be able to take down Zeal, because you get the break, right?
Right.
The break would... Like, it would have been so useful in some of these prior fights, but at least they got it now. They can play with it.
We'll see what they can accomplish, because I know that they're kind of making this space for the Phantom Assassin. Doesn't exactly have a lot of gold on PA, though. You're waiting here for a couple of items. Phantom Assassin, you want to open up that space. You have taken the top tier 1 and the mid tier 1 away from EHOME, so I'd like to see ShenZen, like, they've gotten this small lead. If they put a little bit more of a foot on the gas, I think they can really run away with this one, but it has to be a cautious foot on the gas too, right? Like, it has to be very calculated, because give EHOME 1 or 2 spots to fight back, and they can really pull away here.
I don't know what the cautious foot on the gas is.
Like you're just kind of putting your foot down, but not like
kind of carefully, kind of.
Yeah. You know, hopefully it's more of a global reference than the ones I make prior. But you know when SpongeBob's taking the driving test and he sticks out his big toe through the shoe and he just puts it on the gas?
No, I understand. It's just the concept of cautiously pressing gas is something that eludes me. You know what I mean?
No, you like to go fast.
No, very, very slowly. I only use throttle. First gear, and that's... Oh, you don't have gears. You just drive automatic, right?
You know, it depends.
Really?
I can get to third gear, maybe fourth.
Okay. Okay, now I'm surprised. Like, when you did your driver's license...
It was automatic.
It was automatic,
Yeah.
right? Can you drive manual?
Not well. My brother's car was manual, but every time he like gave it to me to drive, I was a little nervous, like shifting, just because I didn't want to screw up his gearbox or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I would just, if I was to learn, it would have to be in my own car.
Yeah, I get it.
Just don't trust myself to not mess it up, you know?
Oh, it's like one of those things we're proud for, like Europeans. We can drive manual, but then at the same time, it's so annoying. Like,
yeah, like why do I have to keep my foot down on the clutch in this traffic? This is terrible.
Exactly. Why do I have to keep the clutch? Why do I have to change gears all the time? Why do I have to use my right hand when it could just be chilling?
And he could be doing nothing.
Exactly. Like Alchemist has been doing absolutely nothing this whole game, and he has a secret relic. 14 minutes in. Is it the greatest time? Definitely not, but he just took over that profit and he's top of the net worth, so he's getting there slowly.
He's in drive. He's not going from gear to gear.
Exactly, yeah.
Oof. Oh, damage there with the sharpshooter. I was maybe a little bit surprised they didn't even pressure further. That being said, Sacred Relic there for the Alchemist, and Battle Fury just got finished for the Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, so if you're PA, you're definitely satisfied with that, right? Like, 15 minutes in, pretty good timing. He has power threads as well. It's not like a naked Battle Fury or anything like that, so he can definitely keep up with the Alchemist. Not in net worth, but in game impact.
Yeah, and we'll see if the impact is here from the Death Prophet again, and it feels like Phoenix wants to try and make a move with this Exorcism, but again, they're kind of leading the Death Prophet where they want him to go, and that's away from the team, away from these objectives. Exorcism gets popped, and Phoenix pops the BKB, and you can't play confidently anymore with no BKB, so he has to kind of sit behind the tower, and he's not going to get anything with this Exorcism usage again.
It's interesting that they ran away the way they did, because Dawnbreaker has BKB and ulti. I expected them to perhaps take that fight, but yeah, they're really happy to let go of all of their outer towers. They lost tier 1 mid, tier 1 bottom without really a fight.
Map is pretty even in terms of towers. So we'll see who takes advantage of it more. I'm really interested to see how quickly this Phantom Assassin is going to get on the tail of the Alchemist, because it doesn't feel like Shiro's exactly farming that well. Like, I know he's top of the net worth now and 1,000 gold ahead of the Death Prophet, but it doesn't feel like it's on this crazy pace. Ooh, and then now a free BKB from Dolme. Like, he has to just BKB TP.
Yeah, never feels good.
That's another free BKB. Like, I'm going to consider that Death Prophet one pretty free, too. Like, it's not like they used anything too cooldown dependent to get them.
So, basically, whenever I was drafting before, one of my favorite heroes to draft around was always DK and Death Prophet. These kind of heroes, right? Because you get these heroes that are on the top lane right now. Let's see this. PA.
They're going to try and rebound in, and Kaiko needs to be careful just jumping away, but the Shadow Demons here, they've slowed up the Phantom Assassin, and they just want to focus. They have the Dawnbreaker ult, the Solar Guardian, and does a good job of keeping the Phantom Assassin alive as they have the Mortimer's Kisses flying in, and that's going to land on 3 of these heroes. They get the Kona ZZQ. They're still going to get this Marcy. They finish off Planet. That's 2 down on the side of EHOME as they get Kaiko. Echo gets credit for it. Shiro on the run, and the damage is too much for him. Phoenix finishes him off. This is a good fight for ShenZen, with the BKB being popped now by Phoenix to TP away from those familiars. But there's 1 familiar, 2 familiars, stunning them both, pulling back Aura, getting themselves at least the Hoodwink. They want YP, they're going to chase. The Illuminate doesn't land, and Zeal's on it. Osh might help out. He's at least putting the extra damage in, but he's putting it in on the familiar, and they get the kill onto YP. They lose Shiro. They lost a couple there. However, The other side, Phantom Assassin went down. The BKBs were popped. They used a lot to even fight back against EHOME. So kind of an even trade, but
I would argue
time
it's
goes
not
on.
that even. I would say that EHOME perhaps came out on top. Yeah, you lose the Alchemist, but the PA dies first, and
BKB usages.
BKBs exactly as well. PA also needed to die a lot sooner. If she died faster, maybe they can rescue Alchemist as well, but they literally missed Soul Assumption. It happens. He missed. He didn't click on the hero. He clicked on the creep next to him. Then they needed to chase her for like an additional 10-15 seconds, which gave enough time for the boys of ShenZen to take down Alchemist.
Yeah, it split the team because Phantom Assassin went upwards as the rest of the team was down towards the bottom part of that jungle area right by the stairs. Not too terrible, though. I would say for ShenZen, overall, they kind of salvaged it, but it would have felt a lot better if they didn't end up losing the two extra heroes afterwards. Great familiar usage there from Zeal. Like, those double stuns were on point.
It's like... Well, it's probably the first play they made with that Prophet after minute 4, 5 or something when she moved top. It's the first play that they've actually made in the game and that they forced. So I'm happy that that has happened at least. But overall, I don't feel that they're in the greatest spot. PA.
A Phantom Assassin gonna try and survive, but unstable concoction with the Illuminate. Echo getting credit for that kill on Akaiko. They are nearby Roche, and they do have that double damage on Shiro, so they can try and get this Aegis, and there really isn't much to say from ShenZen with where they are on the map, and they just don't have a Phantom Assassin to rely on either. So it's going to be an Aegis for EHOME.
This is literally that timing that we were talking about during the draft. Like, Alchemist comes online just a little bit faster. It's an Alchemist, right? And he has this Radiance BKB timer with which he is able to fight, which he's able to go. And PA, I mean, props off to him. Like, he's still keeping up. He's got good farm, but he's not there yet. Like, he needs this BKB. And his teammates aren't necessarily pressuring the map. They aren't necessarily making space for him. They're more on the reactive side. I think that's the biggest issue. Like, you have that Prophet Dawnbreaker. These heroes don't strike me as... They don't strike me as heroes that are weak early on and that have to be punished as hard as they have been punished.
The punishment has been pretty brutal, but I still kind of believe that ShenZen can bring it back with a nice fight and great bushwhack to lock up Zeal, even with a Solar Guardian commitment. But Echo comes in with Boots of Travel into just some massive right-click damage, as well as the Mortimer's Kisses. They get the save from ZZQ, but I don't know how long it's going to keep him alive. They'll take out a second. They're fighting on the back. They get the kill on the Kaiko. Shiro gets credit for that one. The Starbreaker forward onto ZZQ. They get the kill on to the Shadow Demon.
It's got to
be
BKB.
Take away this Aegis. Shiro, BKB, but he's got to run. He's got some help from Planet. BKB being popped by Dome, as well as Phoenix. And that just puts the attention onto the Marcy. And this should net them a 4th kill. They also got the Aegis.
Maybe even the Alchemist.
EHOME feeling really bad right now as that Celestial Hammer lands, and Phoenix with no fear going after Shiro onto the high ground, and it's a full team wipe for ShenZen.
You were right, B-Cop. I was left. A really decent fight from ShenZen. Even though they lost the PA like they always have in these fights, right? The damage that Prophet and Dawnbreaker were able to dish out, mainly that Prophet, right? Was
this really is just a back and forth of who can stay longer and not get punished, but every time they all get punished because Dome stays too long and he dies this time. Also loses his courier with a blink dagger on his. They're trying to get familiars after the hoodwink. Like, but that last fight was EHOME not staying too long, but, well, kind of a little bit, but also more so EHOME initiating one by one. Like, Echo came in on Boots of Travel away from his team, and then he was just dead to the damage from Kaiko.
Yeah, they initiated. The way they started playing was way too cocky. It's like you have an advantage, but you're not really utilizing it in the most conservative manner, let's put it that way. You just go all in. You get punished for it. These kind of teams will still punish you for your transgressions. And by the way, these transgressions have led to a PA that has a Battle Fury and BKB now. Like last fight, she didn't have it. Now the BKB is up. It kind of does change things, because in all of these fights so far, what would happen is Shadow Demon purges her, Alchemist just runs her down with Blink and Unstable Concoction, or he just got the Blink, it doesn't matter, but they would kill her off easily. That's what I'm saying. From now on, they can't do it anymore.
So not exactly being able to handle fights the same way. And I believe that was, oh yeah, picking up the Ags next. What do you feel about Visage Ags?
It changes the way you want to play the hero. That's all. Like, I like the Ags. I love the Ags, but it depends. Like, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't get it. Sometimes just getting utility is better. Like in a game such as this one, your AC is something that Alchemist will buy, right?
Yeah, and they already get the kill here on a ZZQ. They look over at Zero for the moment. Some damage coming through on a Phoenix, even with the BKB, and they're going to keep the familiars on him. Trying to run him away. The unstable concoction. Now he's got to fall back. Was unable to close the gap and close that distance. One extra stun, and they probably get that kill there on the Death Prophet.
Yeah, I agree completely. Like, as Alchemist is buying the AC, you can go for more of this initiating type, hunter type of Visage, I suppose. So Aghanim's helps with that. You also do not truly have a hero that goes in first, besides the Alchemist with the Blink. So having that from your Visage is also very nice.
Yeah, the Blink from Shiro feels like the leading charge factor, and maybe like a rebound dispose, but you're usually... It feels like the way the Marcies have been playing since the change on dispose and rebound is more so you rebound after initiation, almost, at different points in the game. Like you have somebody go in and then you follow it up with the rebound to get that extra lockdown.
Yeah, and what's more perfect than an invisible bird flying over for rebound to happen, right? Like,
oh my god. don't put fear in my eyes, please.
Why? It's perfect.
That is scary to think about. Oh, just invis jump, having that availability to get the rebound. Kaiko, yeah, he's gonna pop the BKB, go for ZZQ. Of course, he's got that save with the disruption and forcing the BKB TP. Another free BKB usage. Like, there's really not much there that EHOME need to use in this game to get these BKBs to come out.
Yeah, and it's mostly because of ShenZen and the way they're playing. They go a bit too deep very often. They get punished, they get forced to use the BKBs. It also gives an opportunity for EHOME to start a fight if they wanted to. I believe the AC is completed, yeah, on Shiro. So a smoke will happen, you can see them hugging each other, but they're under a ward. Right under a ward. They were literally on top of it. Okay. Probably.
Yeah, if ShenZen get caught here, then that's just on them. That was right on the ward.
Yeah. So probably shouldn't really net them anything important. Maybe they can get a tower here, but that should be it.
Just get them to back off and allow them to go to the tower. Comes out and they're just trying to save it as long as they can.
Must go.
Stable Concoction wants to jump, gets the stun, and there's the rebound. The ulti for the Marcy. Whoa! They blew up Phoenix. Death Prophet had no chance, and then behind them, Dome. Well, there's no basher or anything. Yeah, he's able to just BKB TP, but wow, that damage was fast.
Yeah, that was unleash. They just unleashed on top of that DP everything they had. She died in a second. I love how
don't even know if the Death Prophet was thinking that there's any chance of that being a reality, right?
Yeah, well, probably not. But it's also the item build that he went for. It nets him kills, but he also dies very easily if he doesn't have siphons off. Like, he has the Blink and Witchblade. Got the plate mail just recently too. So if he gets caught, he easily falls.
Still ShenZen moving forward, but they're starting to fall behind more and more. Like, this is now a 4K lead, 5K lead for EHOME. I think they're finding more on the map at the moment. Like, you got to kind of worry for ShenZen if they especially don't get this next Roche, and it's going to be a long spawn, 3 minutes. Unfortunate, I would say, for EHOME more so than ShenZen.
They saw
but
Zeal.
It gives time for ShenZen to do something.
They saw Zeal, but they didn't see the smoked up teammates around him. So they might wait here as a trap for Zeal, but they might get caught instead. The spells have given it away though, like they now know. And keep in mind that even though, yeah, they've lost a couple of fights, these fights all came off of great initiations from EHOME. Like if the same things happens from ShenZen, if they perhaps initiate properly, then they're able definitely to take a decent fight.
I think that's one of the things that we really haven't seen too much consistently from ShenZen at the moment is their initiation. A lot of their fights that they've won have been on counter plays.
Yeah, how do you initiate?
More, maybe not
That's
counter, but back foot.
The good counter question to my argument is, and what you're saying right now is, how do you initiate? Like, who goes in? What, you're gonna
almost
bushwhack?
just like a force to jump, yeah, like bushwhack, or you have to even just jump in as Phantom Assassin and pop the early BKB, but... Yeah. With that, like, it just makes yourself so vulnerable, right? Like, you are forced to jump and BKB, and there it is. There's the bushwhack you were talking about. Solar Guardian, Shiro getting low, and Shiro gonna fall. Like, that was so fast. I guess it is just a bushwhack that works. Because that worked out really well, and it looks like it's gonna net them at least a second with ZZQ dead. The rest of the team really forced to run.
Shadow Demon has Aether Lance plus Psychic Headband, and he's still unable to save the Alchemist. I think maybe Alchemist ran in the wrong direction. Not sure what happened there. But he popped the BKB as well, right? Yeah, he did. So that's an issue. That's usually a problem.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Silver linings are the Roche isn't up for another minute if you're an EHOME fan.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Gives them time to kind of regroup and potentially look for a rebuttal before Roche is available, but you got to expect that ShenZen are just going to stay in the area and wait here for this next Roche, this Aegis Shard.
They will wait for it, but they will not have Exorcism, right? So I think EHOME, perhaps, even though they just fed 2 kills, they might have a slight advantage when it comes to the next Roche fight. What's interesting is that they are not even TPing towards that pit. They TP'd Shiro down into the triangle, so he finishes off his MKB.
Which is going to be big in these fights, too. You got to make sure that you're able to output that damage on the Phantom Assassin, which, for the most part, you know, they have gotten a couple kills here on the PA, but as the game goes longer and longer, you want to make that quicker and quicker so the damage just doesn't come out.
They got it. The MKB is there, so they're completely ready. I feel like you just go into the pit, you force this fight as soon as possible before the Exorcism is available. Keep in mind that they do know when an Exo is going to be up there. They're timing everything, so this should be an easy call for them to make.
They'll make the move. They'll put a familiar in there. They'll go and go for Roche themselves. They'll unleash even. They really want to try and get this Murmur's Kisses to maybe help them evacuate the bushwhack follow-up, and they've got the help with the disruption, but they get the kill on a planet. He doesn't have buyback. Shiro trying to stand his ground, go up to Kaiko with the MKB. The damage coming up with the Starbreaker, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill on the Alchemist just yet. Zeal broken, lockdown, Roche low, Aegis picked up by Dome. YP's in on this one, the right click, the big fan of knives, and that will be the damage to get the kill there on Zeal. They end up losing YP. The Starbreaker slams down on a ZZQ, and 3 heroes will be dead on the side of EHOME as ShenZen, another very well played counter pick. And well, you said it, Lizard. Like, they just go in and force the fight, but and a very good bushwhack leads to Mortimer's Kisses. That leads to the PA going in, and EHOME just, you know, no idea what they wanted to get done in that fight.
No, they felt just the way I felt. They felt that the MKB will allow them to go in, take a good fight, but ShenZen just executing a little bit better. Like Hoodwink, you don't have any Aether Lances, nothing that allows you to nail every single bushwhack properly, right? Like, arguably, perhaps someone should be outside of the pit scouting that out. blocking it in some manner, but it's just ShenZen really playing well. I'm not sure, like Visage has his Aghanims, right? But I haven't really seen the Aghs as well come into huge play. I haven't seen the vision advantage from it as well. And this game is hard. Dude, I think we're getting to a point in which Alchemist is scary, but he's no longer the true issue. Like, even the Dawnbreaker and the PA are becoming like monsters for him.
Yeah, and we see this a lot as the games kind of go along, like especially with Dawnbreaker. It feels like just the Starbreaker damage, the ability of what you're able to accomplish with that hero feels so strong. And one shot looking for a two-shot sword. Guardian coming in the sharpshooter, ZZQ taken out from a distance, and now the damage on a Shiro. He's forced to run with his BKB. Aiko, how confident is he going to be without his? Very. The answer is quite clear as he takes out Zeal.
Yeah, and Dome does not care. That's an overwhelming blink. He uses Solar Guardian to get in. Obviously has his shard. He can blink in with the Starbreaker and hit combo to follow everything up. And it even looked like EHOME wanted to fight. They turned there. They went with the Alchemist with a pretty nice stun from him, but there's just not enough damage any longer. Even the PA has a Satanic, so you're not killing her anymore.
Yeah, I think EHOME need to find a way to fight around potentially baiting out some of those BKBs and going for these kills afterwards, but it hasn't happened. Like, they just don't live long enough.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I feel that they've just completely missed their timings. That Roche fight just sealed the deal. The moment they lost the Aegis and that last Roche fight, this game became, in my opinion, like 90% in ShenZen's favor. But we'll see. It's always possible to outplay.
8K lead, like, we'll see if EHOME can find the right options here. Because it really shouldn't be, especially with the Aegis for another minute and a half, and I think you have Exorcism coming back soon enough where you might be able to posture here and look to go high ground with the next Exorcism in 40 seconds.
They have decent high ground defense as well. You have Acid Spray, you have Illuminate, which is really nice. Also, the same Illuminate guy, Echo, he finished off Hex, which was used already in the last fight, but it can come in handy taking down a PA before she uses Satanic.
They can, if they can, you know, like the problems have been breaking through these heroes while they have these BKBs active, and they just haven't been able to stay alive during them to get to that second phase of the fight.
Yeah, also a big issue. Getting to, well, second phase of the fight is way too difficult. You die in the first phase, but
yeah.
You asked about Visage Aghanims. Like, this Aghs can be amazing in some games, in which you're in front, you're hunting, you're going behind enemy lines, you're starting a fight, and then your teammates continue, right? The problem is, when you're playing from behind, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good. You'd rather have any sort of a utility item, some Lotus Orb or anything like that, you know, to help your teammates out. It's not like you actually get a lot from being silent as a grave.
You're really wanting to see more from this Visage.
Yeah, but like, you want to see more, but you won't see more because of the item build. Like, because of him getting this Aghanims, like, he's kind of committed to be this bounty hunter role. If you remember the bounty hunter back in the day, you just pop invis and you run around, give vision.
Back with like Tinker.
Exactly, you're kind of stuck in that.
That's the days of like when Fly to Moon used to do that stuff. Just Tinker bounty hunter.
Good times. Get tracked and then rocketed to death. Like, one of the
yeah.
best things this game has ever given us. For sure. Good times. Doesn't make me like angry just by thinking of it at all.
It makes me happy. That was a fun few games to watch. I remember when that was happening, and I feel like There are definitely teams that could utilize doing that again, even now. If Bounty Hunter felt a little bit more of a hero. I feel like Tinker can still be kind of a pick up your sleeve, right?
Can he?
I think so. I think like nothing to say could pull out a Tinker and make it work.
Can he? Yeah, but
I have
that's
faith.
because he's on LGD. I think they can pick anything for him and make it work.
True. Ooh. Okay, so Ags to ZZQ given from the Alchemist. Huh.
Yeah, you get what, 3 charges, right?
Yeah, I'm just
So you
interested
can
that
use
he's giving out Ags. Like, is that the best thing he could have done with
Perhaps.
that gold?
Perhaps for Shadow Demon, because it's pretty huge. You can use it on PA multiple times.
Bushwhack being used might have been an opportunity to potentially jump there, because that's been a lot of the ShenZen lockdown, and he actually stunned himself with the Unstable Concoction. They go to the Mortimer's Kisses, so now spells kind of getting used by ShenZen a little bit loosely. That's the only big ult that comes out, so not exactly anything more than that.
Are they hunting Dolmen now? Do they know? Like, they should know that he's down bottom. Oh, never mind. He just wants to outpush on Echo. If he waited for Zeal like a second longer, you see, Zeal had the proper idea. He was trying to find...
Zeal still wants to go, maybe
There's-
get a BKB out and then back away, but Starbreaker Magic Community, and then now the BKB with the TP, and no surprise.
Yeah. It's a long cooldown, right? 6 seconds BKB, so it doesn't matter in that way, but at the same time, it's a long cooldown, so forcing that out is always nice. It's pretty cool the way they're initiating the fights as well with Alchemist. Like, you have Demonic Cleanse from Shadow Demon's Shard, you pop it on the big boy, he jumps in with a stun. Even if they go on him, he will have that cleanse afterwards, so...
That cleanse can feel really strong. It's kind of disgusting. Level 3, it's a 700 heal.
He's going in. He has
They
the
might
stun
make
on.
the jump. They've got the familiars. They have the vision, and look how quickly they're able to rip through YP. As buyback, forced to use it, Lincoln's gets popped. There's the break onto the Phantom Assassin, the right quick damage coming in, and now what can the Phantom Assassin do but stand his ground and go after Shiro? Shiro running backwards. Oh, the damage coming in real quick. ZZQ and Shiro getting ripped apart. They took out the Alchemist. That's thanks to YP coming in again, and it's another counterplay from ShenZen. Every single time, it feels like they're just responding well.
Bottom lane is being
They
pushed
wanna go
in, but
more.
they're still going for more, yeah.
Yeah, they want to get Zeal. They'll get themselves another Envisage.
Yeah, that Fan of Knives working really well for the PA. He also has Witchbane, by the way, to purge himself, if necessary, from Kotal, from Shadow Demon. They go in on the high ground, though. There are buybacks, but even if you buy back, I'm not sure you can do a lot here.
Dire's top barracks has fallen.
Almost sensing that you need the Shadow Demon. And now he's got buyback. Now that you've got all 3 buybacks, maybe you make the move, but I don't know how you exactly initiate in unless, well, Dome's going to go in himself. They're going to TP forward. They've got the Sharpshooter, the Celestial Hammer to try and run. There's Magic Community on this Dawnbreaker, and then goes to the Starbreaker that hits on a Shiro. They'll try to jump in onto the Dawnbreaker. They get the count upon it. They'll take out the Marcy. Buyback immediately, as Marcy needs to find a way back into the fight. Kaiko goes back over to the jungle as he's jumping away from the side of EHOME, and even with all these buybacks, they get nothing out of it.
And look at that. Just as they approach Rosh, it's back up.
It means EHOME need to fight and need to go. There is no exorcism. Maybe
They're too slow.
maybe they can get in time, but the damage is there. The Aegis Cheese and Ag's Blessing hidden behind the tree that was placed there by the Hoodwink.
They got everything they needed, and they also forced all of these buybacks. It's just hard to imagine a scenario in which EHOME comes back from this. But I think the biggest monster on the side of ShenZen right now is not actually the PA, it's the Dawnbreaker. The amount of work Dolme is doing, it's insane.
Are scanning.
Like, he's mincing them and putting them in grapevine. Blinks from behind, especially in this last fight around the Roche pit. He blinked from behind, he stunned like 2 or 3 on the stairs. Completely separated Alchemist from everyone else. And he hits them with the Starbreaker, they lose 70% of their HP as well.
None of that move either. Wow. Shiro wants a Divine Rapier, but it just feels like he's not able to stand his ground at all. Like he tried to fight 1v1 against the PA, but lost.
So he's going for that.
Yeah, I don't know how you have the confidence to go for a Divine Rapier.
Well, when you don't have confidence for anything else, I guess, right? What do you have to lose at this point? You're 30k behind as an Alchemist team.
And that is very true. And they defend, and they hold it off. Not looking too likely, especially now Exorcism's back up. The jump in is very easily doable. They've got multiple overwhelming blinks on the side of ShenZen. Like, how do you even stop this team from jumping forward? Like, I just don't think you can.
Yep, they're just going to jump you, and that's it. Like, you have some counterplay perhaps with the Shadow Demon, but it doesn't really feel that great, that massive. They're trying to get to this Rapier on Alchemist, but I don't think he even has enough time. Do they have buybacks, by the way, on Radiant? PA has one, Dawnbreaker has one.
Yeah, everybody but Snap.
Yeah, they can just jump in pretty much and force this.
Really trying to get into the Divine Rapier as quickly as possible. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And ShenZen are kind of just waiting and buying their time. Like, they don't really need too heavily.
Oh, they are smoking up. Perhaps top lane, Marcy.
Come from the top, that would be interesting. Stifling Dagger and looking for the Fan of Knives. Planet Sharpshooter just short.
That was really, really close. It will allow Shiro to get the Rapier down bottom. He sells his face boots actually, okay? So no boots for him.
You've got a surprise with this though. You have to be the ones initiating. You can't really play it on the back foot if you're trying to use a Divine Rapier like this, right?
Yep, they're about to go in. Any second now. I'm just looking at Shiro and ZZQ. The moment the Demonic Cleanse is on him, he'll go in.
Now hiding in the trees. There you go. Lincoln's pop. Maybe not the person you want to go for. He's got the Lotus Orb, so who do you jump on? It's going to be Dolme. They'll look for the damage. The right click is going to be too much for him to handle. They get the kill onto this Dawnbreaker. They'll look over Solar Guardian right in. They're going to dispose onto the Death Prophet. They'll look for the Fan of Knives. They'll go after Echo. They get the kill there onto the Kato, who's going to buy back immediately. The damage is not there really from EHOME after the initiation onto the Dawnbreaker. They get the kill to Shiro. He'll drop the Divine Rapier. That should be all they've written for this game as Phantom Assassin picks up the Divine Rapier, and they'll call GG on the side of EHOME as ShenZen will take game number 1. And they have looked pretty strong. It did feel like EHOME had kind of missed a little bit of a timing there, but ShenZen certainly took advantage of every opportunity they were given.
They definitely did. PA constantly kept up with the Alchemist when it came to the net worth. Yeah, of course, Alchemist was like 2-3k ahead, but she kept with the Battle Fury. She was really close with the BKB as well afterwards. That Roche fight won the game.